The New York Mets dispatch the Atlanta Braves. They take 2 out of 3, and it was all about pitching. But the one takeaway, and again, first of all, let me back up a couple of days. I came into this series with the Atlanta Braves saying that the Mets necessarily didn't have to win. They didn't have to win this series in order to prove that their season has been as good as it is. The Braves have been surging. We've seen it over the last month and a half. They rarely lose in back-to-back games. They've been dominant for stretches, and it felt like all of this pressure after overcoming a 10-game or even a 13-game deficit to the Mets in the NL East. They stormed their way back. They're within a game and a half last night. It just felt like the Braves were coming to get the Mets and take over the division, and maybe they wouldn't give it up if they had played, if they had won this series, or at least swept this series, because even if they took one, we knew that the New York Mets would still have at least a half a game lead. But the Mets took care of business, and I positioned it as not being critical, because even if the Braves had swept the Mets, and even if they had won this series, won 2 out of 3, it wasn't dire. It wasn't something that you get up in arms about and you start screaming from the mountaintops. The only thing that you would say is, now we exactly know what we need to do at the trade deadline. And we've already heard Stevie Cohen say that they're going to do whatever they're going to do. We've already heard Sandy Alderson talk about doing whatever there's need to be done, especially with the DH, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But we came into this series thinking this wasn't a series that was going to determine the success of the first half of the season for the Mets. However, after winning this series, I can now state that the Mets and the Met fan, you need only fear one team in the National League, and that's the LA Dodgers. You no longer fear the Atlanta Braves. And there's a couple of reasons why. The Braves are really good. However, the Braves don't nearly have the pitching to match up to what the New York Mets are going to trot out when you get later in the season, when you possibly get into the postseason. The Mets simply have better pitching. Now, you can say, well, Max Fried, he's an all-star. He's one of the best pitchers in the National League over the last couple of years. However, Max Fried v. Max Scherzer, I'm taking Max Scherzer 9 out of 10 times, maybe 10 out of 10 times. Charlie Morton, he showed why he's vulnerable last night. And if the Braves really want to make some moves, this is a tangent on them for a second, if they really want to move and defend their World Series title, the Braves are going to have to go get some more pitching. Kyle Wright, who we didn't see, he's having a good season, but I would still throw the Mets pitching staff up against anybody on the Atlanta Braves right now. Chris Bassett pitched a fantastic game as he has been against every team that he's faced, except for those 4 West Coast teams where his ERA got ballooned on those when he was out west. But other than that, his ERA has been fantastic. You throw in David Peterson, who supposing to be one of these top end of the rotation guys, has been fantastic, save for one pitch where he gave up the home run in Game 2 of this Atlanta series to Matt Olson. Other than that, he's been fantastic. When I look at the big picture, the Mets don't need to fear the Atlanta Braves anymore. And that was really the issue coming into this series. It was, man, the Atlanta Braves, they're coming. Man, the Atlanta Braves, they're the defending World Series champion. Man, the Atlanta Braves, they're just going to find a way, because this is what they've done for over the last year or so, going back to the trade deadline pre the All-Star break last year. All they've been doing is running after the Mets. They caught them and passed them last year, and the Mets faltered. You don't fear the Braves anymore if I'm the New York Mets. There is one team that I'm scared about right now, and that is the LA Dodgers. Now, we know that we had a series earlier in the season where we went out to LA. It wasn't great, but they did get a split. But the advantage that the Mets have over the Atlanta Braves, they don't necessarily have over the LA Dodgers. Tony Gonsolin's pitching fantastic. Clayton Kershaw is back to being Clayton Kershaw. Julio Urias, he's having a great season as well. Tyler Anderson, all of these guys, all of the all of the Dodgers pitching, you look at it and you get worried that they could match up against the New York Mets pitching. But the Atlanta Braves, they don't match. They don't match the Mets. They don't match the Mets pitching. Now, there's some issues still with the New York Mets. They don't hit. I mean, you have Luis Guillermo batting cleanup. That's not ideal. You had some guys injured. Sterling Marte, he was out. Jeff McNeil, he was out. Pete Alonso's been in a slump. Yet they still found a way to beat this Atlanta Braves team. So if I'm the New York Mets, I'm not scared of the Atlanta Braves anymore. I'm not saying that there's not a competition for the division. I'm not saying that the Braves can't find a way to win the division if the Mets should falter in some capacity. But I'm saying if I'm the Mets, I'm not scared of the Atlanta Braves any longer. Get that narrative and flush it down the toilet. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. We ended up coming into this season of the New York Mets talking about their rotation and all of the names that you can throw out and think about in the short term for the New York Mets. None of them include Jacob deGrom, who is having another rehab start tomorrow, I believe, in Syracuse. And then he'll likely have one more before the All-Star break. And then there's a good chance that he's back right after the All-Star break when they play the San Diego Padres. And if that happens and he pitches to the level that everybody expects him to pitch to, then you really don't fear the Atlanta Braves. Now, you got the Braves a few more times. I think actually 10 or 11 more times that they have to play the Atlanta Braves. So it's not like it's over with the Braves. All I'm saying, and this was clear and you felt it from Escobar's home run to Lindor's 3-run shot, and then Canna hit another one. You just felt that fear fly out the window. I don't fear the Atlanta Braves anymore if I'm the New York Mets. Not a chance. Not a chance in hell. 877-337-6666. Let's get to some of your calls. Dan up in Albany. What's up, Dan? Welcome to the Fan.
Hey, good morning, sir, and how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing well. I'm going over to speak at the Norman Rockwell Museum where I work, so I'm on my way there.
What's the topic of conversation today, Dan?
Well, I wanted to talk about that. I think you're wrong about the Atlanta Braves.
No. I'm talking about for your job. What are you speaking about?
I speak on Norman Rockwell's paintings and his background and the 4,000 works that he does. I show the studio where he worked for almost 19 years of his life. And I don't have an art background, but I've been very fortunate over the last 5 years to work there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's a wonderful, wonderful museum.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. We'll give it a shout out. Good job. And good luck this afternoon. But what do you got on the Mets? You're still scared of the Braves?
I'm not scared. I like the word, and you are a competitor. You competed in everything that you do.
Yep.
And the Braves compete. And last year they were competing in the National League East. And all of a sudden they made 1 or 2 or 3 deals, and they won the World Series.
Yeah.
And that's what can happen again. Now, the Braves do not need as many players as they did last year with injuries and some players not performing as they did. So they might need a starting pitcher to help them out and a relief pitcher.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I think if they get that, then really they're going to be top dog because you always look to beat the winner. And they are the winners. Oh, yeah. And they know how to win.
Dan, that's the cliche. No, you're right. That's the cliche. To be the best, you got to beat the best. The Braves currently are the best. They're defending champions. But you nailed it, Dan. They have to make upgrades. Like Charlie Morton's a shell of who we used to think he's not that guy anymore. So they got to make a move. But until the Braves make that move, I don't fear them right now. And we know the Mets are going to make a move, right? We've already heard them talk about it.
Well, history has said of what the Braves did last year, they made those moves.
Yes.
I think that general manager is smart. They have a very good minor league system, so that'll enable them to do that. Where the Mets, they can't trade their 3 or 4 top minor league prospects for a good starting pitcher, a good outfielder, DH, somebody that can give Alonso the background. Now, you have Alonso as the potential only big home run hitter. Marte is in that category a little bit, but not the way that Alonso is. So they need to fortify themselves with a good left-hand hitting power outfielder or third baseman and two stud relief pitchers. Now, how do they get that?
Yeah,
Then if they got those pitches, baby, they're on their way. And if DeGrom, I'm concerned about DeGrom because over the last couple of years, like in business, you go with the flow a little bit and how a business is doing work. DeGrom got hurt the last 2 years by throwing hard, and harder.
Yeah, and sometimes too hard. He comes out. Yeah, he comes out. Appreciate your call, Dan, and good luck today speaking on Norman Rockwell. That'd be fun. I'd love to hear that one of these days. But here's the thing: DeGrom has made the same couple of mistakes in storming back too hard, and I don't think that he'll do it again. He's now his third rehab start, which will be in Syracuse. That's going to happen tomorrow. And as long as he comes out of that one feeling good, you got to be confident that he's going to be ready. He's going to be like a midseason addition. We heard Buck Showalter say this at the very beginning of the year, and he's absolutely right. The New York Mets have been really damn good without him. They're going to be better with him. But the challenge will be, do they make the right kind of moves to keep pace with the moves that you know that the Atlanta Braves are going to make? They did it last year. Dan mentioned Alex Anthopoulos, the general manager for the Atlanta Braves. He is aggressive. He is a very smart business mind or baseball mind. And with business, so you know that he's going to go after the guys that are going to make this team better. But if I'm a Met, and after this series in Atlanta on the road, the way that they won it, and by the way, they could have swept it if David Peterson didn't have one bad pitch and a great at-bat by Matt Olson. It was one bad pitch. That was the only reason that the Braves were able to take Game 2. They easily could have swept the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta. I don't fear the Atlanta Braves anymore. I fear one team in the National League if I'm the Mets, and that's the L.A. Dodgers. Let's get to Vinny in Northvale, New Jersey. What's up, Vinny? Welcome to the Fan.
Hey, Tiki, how are you?
I am good. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. So I'm a big fan of you. I've been a Braves fan living in Jersey since I was a kid, and I think you're way off base on the Braves.
See, this is the thing with the Braves. The Braves fan is so cocky right now because you're a defending champion. You know that you've made this run. You came storming back from however many games it was, 13 or 14 or whatever it may have been earlier on in the season, and now you're feeling like, yeah, we're good. We got everything figured out. Maybe you aren't as good as you thought you were, Vinny.
I think we're better than we were last year. I'm going to tell you why. So our bullpen is better. We have Jansen. We have Kirby Yates coming back after the All-Star break.
Yes.
So we're not going to need bullpen help.
Okay.
I agree with you on Morton. He's not the same.
Nope.
But we still have Fried, Ian Anderson. Dan was off base as well. We don't have a minor league system anymore.
No, it was
especially since we got Olsen.
Yeah, it got wiped out a little bit.
We just traded the kid to Kansas City for the 35th pick in the draft. So, but you're forgetting, the playoffs is bullpen. So if we get a guy that can go 4 innings, our bullpen will dominate like it did last year.
Do you not think that the Mets are going to go get bullpen help? Do you not think? Do you not think they're going to go get another bat? I know they're getting another bat, right? We know this. Do you not think they're also going to get bullpen help? And Edwin Diaz has been great. So I think it's a chess match, right? It's like this it's a chess match, but they're not actually playing chess against each other. That's what it feels like with the Braves and the Mets right now. You know that these are the two teams, along with the Dodgers, who are really fighting for that number 1 seed so that they don't have to go to the wild card. You can set yourself up, set your rotation up for the postseason. The Mets and the Braves are playing chess right now, not necessarily against each other, but they got to make that move that's going to make them better because both teams have a little bit of a flaw.
I agree with you.
Oh, Vinny,
I don't know what left.
Go ahead. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know what left-handed bat you're going to get. I don't think there's much out there. And as far as bullpen help, besides Cincinnati and Oakland, I don't know who you're getting.
Yeah, that's the challenge. I mean, you bring up a very good point, Vinny. And I talked about this the other day, how the expanded postseason or expanded wild card makes it so much harder for teams like like the Mets, I mean, I guess the Yankees too, to an extent, it makes it so much harder to go get somebody who could be available because teams are just competing, right? We talk about, the Orioles. Oh, the Orioles they stink. They're going to be sellers at the deadline. The Orioles have won 10 games in a row. They're currently now 2 games over 500. Like the Orioles out of nowhere are two games, I think, maybe out of the postseason, out of the wild card. Like the Orioles, who were an afterthought, they are now right back into the mix of things in the wild card. Yeah, they're only a game over 500, but they're 2 games back of the wild card, only 2 behind Toronto, who just fired their skip, and Boston, who have been falling a little bit. Seattle's the same way. Seattle's a team that, Seattle's going to stink this year because Seattle's won 10 games in a row. So there's a lot of teams that are right there that make it so much harder for teams like the Mets to go get an experienced prospect, which is why we might have an issue with Sandy. We'll talk about him in just a little bit. Sonny and Malvern, what's up, Sonny? Welcome to the fan.
Hey, Tiki, long time no speak. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Good to hear back from you.
Yeah, thanks, man. Good to hear you, and you're doing a great job solo. Thank
you, brother.
Super impressed. Listen, before I get to the Mets, any thoughts about the football Giants? You feeling good this upcoming year?
Oh, I mean, we'll have plenty of time to talk about the New York Giants, but yes, I am. First
Okay.
of all, because of the leadership there, from Joe Shane and Brian Dable, it just feels different emotionally. Those guys are really good dudes, right? First of all, but they're really open and I think accessible, which lets you feel like you can trust them. And I think the roster has just gotten better. And if they stay healthy, then there's no limit on where the Giants can be. We only got 2 weeks too, Sonny, by the way. 2 weeks we're in training camp, which is crazy to think about.
Listen, you'll be hearing a lot more from me when Giants season starts because I'm more of a football guy.
We're gonna be dissecting the hell out of that. What does Daniel Jones look like? He had 5 incompletions today. Put him on the bench. Put Tyrod Taylor in. Now, hopefully we won't get that extreme. But
people are crazy. But really quick, I think it's make or break for him, obviously, and I think the season falls on his shoulders.
No doubt about it.
As far as the Mets, listen, the last time I called, I think I said that Scherzer just went out, and I said if the Mets played 500, they'd be doing okay.
Yep.
Well, they played a lot better than 500, but we didn't know Atlanta was going to go on that historic run. So with that being said, and now Scherzer's back, DeGrom's coming back shortly. The Mets just beat Atlanta 2 out of 3 and beat them pretty good. They could have won that second game. They had some players out. Obviously, they're going to get a bat, like you said, maybe a little bit bullpen help. You got to feel really good about this team, Tiki.
Yeah, no, I do. I just worry a little bit about the bullpen. Like, I look at the guy, like Adam Ottavino, sometimes he's amazing. You're like, dude, this guy is awesome. And then he blows one here or there. Drew Smith is like, dude, look how elite stuff this is. And then he gives up 8 home runs in his how many appearances he's been in. So I have a few question marks, but at least I trust your closer. At least I trust Edwin Diaz, which is something you couldn't say a year ago.
Yeah, Diaz is on another planet right now. He's incredible. And obviously we didn't trust him for, that second year where he was blowing every save coming in, giving up home runs. It was incredible. And I wanted the Mets to get rid of him. So obviously we're glad that they kept him. But, we got to win the division. You can't go for the wild card because anything can happen in one game, even though we're going to have to wait.
No, it's 3 now. It's 3 now. The wild card is 3 now. So it gives so there's an advantage that you have. Not advantage. And appreciate your call, Sonny. Definitely keep calling back and call back come New York Giants season, which is just around the corner. I mean, really, it's around the corner how quickly, the football season just got here, which is awesome. And I can't wait to talk about it. But right now, it's the Mets. Again, if I'm the Mets, I don't fear the Braves anymore. I know, and even as a Met fan, I don't fear the Braves anymore. You hear the Mets themselves, from Bassett to any of the guys, Francisco Lindor, they downplayed this series victory. And as a team, yeah, you can do that. But as a fan, it is huge, enormous to take 2 out of 3 from the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta. And the way that they did it, it was dominant pitching. And then you got a lot from guys like Francisco Lindor, who for some reason people still want to hate on him, but the dude's on pace for 116 RBIs and 30 home runs. I know his OPS isn't great, but he plays elite defense. Get off Francisco Lindor. A bigger issue might be Pete Alonso, though. We'll hit that and a lot more on the other side of this break. 877-337-6666.